Well, I've got my travel buddy here, Joe. But Joe, I brought bigger kids. You brought your young kids and your wife on this Disney cruise, their newest, the Treasure. And I have my thoughts, but I wanted to ask you, since we're dealing with different seasons in our life, what was it like for you, a busy dad with kids on this cruise? Because I'll tell you, my experience was perfection, but it was easy. What about you?
Well, I look, I loved it. We had a great time. Now, again, I used to be a cruise snob. I didn't understand or just know the appeal of it. Or I always thought like it was something like that, an extravagant expense that I would never, want to commit to.
Ditto.
So I went on the Disney Wish 2 or 3 years ago, whenever that was, for
Yeah.
their inaugural launch. Took my family, and it was great. It was unbelievable. I understand the appeal. It's a Disney park on the water. It's a it's a spa. It's a salon. It's pools. Everything on the ship. I mean, ships and cruises are amazing, especially and Disney does it best. Took my family there. This time around, we went in knowing the options we had. So one of the big things, like again, the Disney cruises are great for families, but there's great for adults too. I mean, if you're an
Right,
adult
right.
traveling with no kids, I would still pick a Disney cruise. There's so many awesome things to do to entertain you. My favorite point of on the ship was the Haunted Mansion themed, lounge. It's just a bar. It's for 21 and up. It's grown-ups, no kids allowed. So we got little kids on the boat. My kids are 6 and 9. They've got the Disney Kids Clubs. They've got them for little kids. They've got them for teens. These are areas that are secured and staffed and themed. Plenty of entertainment options, so you can check your kids in at the Disney Kids Club. They ride a slide to get into the thing.
No,
First
I
of all,
love that.
again, you wash your hands when you go in, you wash your hands when you go out, and they do activities, or the kids can just do their thing, wander and play. There's a Marvel room with all kinds of virtual reality games and just stuff and props. There's a Star Wars themed room. Again, I mean, plenty of stuff to do. Arts and crafts room. I mean, the area is huge. I mean, it's almost. I mean, it had to have been, let's say, a fourth of the deck. That deck is all this kids club.
Right.
So again, at first we felt like, well, we're just kind of are we dumping our kids off? But no, it's like it's designed. The
They
kids
want to
want to
be
get away
there.
from us. They don't want
Yeah.
to be parented all the time. They want to relax and just have fun. And that's what these like camp. They're like camp counselors in there. It's
Right.
called the Oceaneers Club. And I remember one night, we dropped the kids off after dinner. So we went and had a drink, and we went to pick them up for the play, which I'm sure we'll talk about again. And
Extravagant performance, yes.
so yeah, and I was I'm at the desk to pick them up, and I can see in there, and they've got a lot of the kids together in front of these big giant, I mean, 30-foot TVs, and they've got like this big dance thing going on, and it's routine. My daughter's in there just doing this routine dance, and I mean, having fun, and it's great. She didn't want to leave. Like, okay, let's go see this play. Like, she was like, oh, I'm having fun. I don't want to leave yet, and then
That's what parents would hope,
right,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, for this cruise, we took more advantage of that, and we got to go just have a quiet drink with ourselves, and just time to unwind and relax. And so it was great. I see the appeal as part of a family of four, and I see the appeal as just me and my wife going. So
Exactly. And
it,
I went with my youngest son and his wife. And Joe, if you don't have kids around, I didn't even see the kids. I mean, I saw your kids, there were
right,
kids, but
right,
it's not like it's just wow, just kids everywhere. It was so beautifully and elegantly done. When I walked into that main lobby area, very Aladdin, very elegant and velvet. And I'm thinking, I've been on cruises before. This was one of the most luxurious cruises. Everywhere you went, it was just so well thought
right,
make the customer smile. I mean, literally, I smiled the whole time,
right.
whether it was eating for with the buffet that was so nicely done, windows right looking out to the ocean. Everyone, didn't you notice the wait staff, our servers? They're like your friends. They were so kind. And at nighttime, we'd go to the themed restaurant, Plaza de Coco, which was, of course, Miguel, and they were all performing, which was such a treat. But you had the same waiters.
Right.
Ours was Milus, or I think it was Milus from Bosnia, and Maria from Brazil. They were your wait staff the entire time you were there. So they already had my iced tea waiting for me. It
Right.
was just beautifully done.
Right. And the thing about too, like I remember the first day, I think it was really early on. You just kind of mentioned to me or something like, man, this is first class everywhere you go. And it's a great point. I mean, of course the ship's brand new, but they design it. It's got that Disney magic that you go, if you're a fan of the parks, like the parks are so clean and everything's every day, it's freshly painted and food is phenomenal. It's the same sensibility with the ship. Everything is, I mean, I almost felt like I don't know if I belong here. It seems so extravagant and
It
expensive.
was. And when you walk into these restaurants, we were in the world of Marvel, we were in Plaza de Coco. I kept saying, we're on a ship.
Right,
I couldn't believe we were on a ship the way that they
right,
did it. And we had the pleasure of interviewing a lot of people who, from their hearts made this ship what it is, and
right,
they put their heart and soul into it. And that was the whole purpose, taking the park and somehow with their Disney magic, getting it on the ship. And
right,
can we talk entertainment? Oh my God. That's what I love about ships. I don't care if my family goes with me. I'm going to the show at night. It
right,
brings me so much joy. These shows, they kept saying it's Broadway-esque. It was. It was Broadway level shows. From the Seize the Adventure with Goofy, commandeering the cruise ship, and then we met all the characters, and it was the world premiere of Moana.
right. Well, and I'll do you one better because I'm kind of again I always was a snob about theater, right? Like I went and saw I saw Wicked and I saw Book of Mormon and things like that, and I enjoyed those.
Right.
But so the theaters that I saw those in, the classic old school, just probably like a lot of New York theater. I've never seen a show in New York, but I imagine, the buildings are old and everything. Disney's theater on these ships are so modernized. I didn't even realize like the entire wall around the stage, above it, below it, I mean, the entire wall is some kind of either a screen for a projector or it's a screen that's kind of hidden. And
Mhm.
throughout the shows, like at one point that the show you're talking about, the first one on night one, they had Tinkerbell come out and fly around.
She was real. She was like right
But
there,
it's
right?
again, it's got that slight 3D effect to it. You don't see it coming. And then plus they also at certain points they'll drop confetti across the entire audience. We saw Little Mermaid on the Disney Wish, the last boat, and bubbles came down everywhere again. So to me, even too, it's this wow factor. It's they've taken it another level and they've made it more entertaining in that fun family way. I don't think it's not traditional theater, but it takes the best of traditional theater and gives it that
Absolutely.
Disney movie spin.
The
Um,
that Moana. All right, Moana. World premiere. Never did it live anywhere else, but on the Disney Treasure. Grandma was interactive with the audience.
right.
She was hilarious. I mean, so comfortable. Everyone just fell in love with her. And then every single character, I felt, you know what I felt like? Like they were cartoon characters.
Right.
They were in the movie as a cartoon, but they were real life, which means their voices were a little, I mean, it was just, I can't even explain it. You'd have to go see it yourself.
So another thing that was interesting point. So again, the first time I wasn't quite paying attention. I didn't know what all my options were the first cruise, right? And we
Right, right,
happened upon, hey, there's a theater. There's also two movie theaters in them. We didn't hit any of those, but they've
right.
got movies going that are in the theaters now. Moana 2,
And up on the deck
Deadpool
outside by the
Wolverine was
pool.
playing on one, so again,
Yeah.
families or adults, either way. So for the play, last cruise, we saw Little Mermaid and I was blown away. I mean, the bubbles thing, and the under the sea performance, the song and everything. My daughter's picking up confetti off the floor to keep it because she was having so much.
It's so good.
But I didn't realize until this one they do a different show every night. It's like, okay, so the night one was kind of a Disney verse, like all the like several different characters and princesses came out, and that was like short little 35 minute show. Moana, full on production was, I mean, it was definitely, I think it was over an hour, but it was
Hour
again,
and 15 minutes.
which
Mhm.
again was great because if you've got kids, for them to sit through an extended show and take an intermission and leave and come back. No
Yeah.
intermission. These shows just brisk and they're brilliant. And they're great. Performances are great. And I'm still blown away by the. I wish I would have recorded it. I think
You
it's
weren't
bad.
allowed to record
Right,
it.
right, right. Well, yeah, and I didn't want to. But I want to remember this forever. That I love the Moana movie, but that point where Taka, the big giant monster, which they had a multi-person puppet, that was a great
Oh,
look.
oh my
And the
gosh.
way I just, it was some kind of magic trick.
It was real. It was
They
like
did
it was real.
it was a physical puppet, and they did some kind of live costume change right in front of you, where the skin comes off, and all of a sudden it's it's what's the goddess's name? Tafiti.
Hmm.
Tafiti now is under there, and she just kind of transforms. I'm like,
Beautiful.
how it's just amazing. It just looks so cool, and as a physical puppet, you can't figure out how they quite did that so quick and easy and
Okay,
great.
how about the last night, Beauty and the Beast? All the set changes and the movement. So here's the deal. You know, I'm obsessed with dancing, and there
Right,
was one dancer that I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. Well, not only was he a dancer, they sing, and then he was also moving the scenery around, the
right,
sets
right.
to enable Beauty to climb up the stairs and the Beast to do this. I mean, oh my gosh.
So this might bring up another good point. I didn't get to see that one because my son Ozzy had enough at that night three. He's like, I want to go do something else. So
But your wife saw it.
yeah, my wife and my daughter stayed and watched it. They're in the front row. So I took Ozzy, and again, we've got all these options to do. There's so much going on. If you can entertain yourself, you're covered. If you're like, hey, I don't know what to do, you're covered. So I'm just looking at their itinerary, and they've got all these, all these things that available. They had movie quote trivia in one of the lounges. I think where our first meeting was. You and I went to.
It's a nice little
Uh,
stage area.
yeah, so we went in and they had this big stage and they had a game show host and they're just doing movie quote trivia. And me and my son, he had a little milkshake and I had a drink and we're just sitting there playing. And again, little 20-minute, 30-minute little game and just things like that are happening all the time. So there's always options to do.
And
And I
the
don't want to. What's
rooms were
that?
so comfortable.
Oh yeah,
So comfortable.
the cabins are great. We got photos and videos on our social media. The cabins
Hmm.
were huge. I mean, as large as any, hotel room. I mean, your
Right.
basic hotel room. You got plenty of room. Family of four recovered. I do want to go back to the food real quick because um, food is all phenomenal. I mean, I have this term I throw out, theme park food, right? Because I love theme parks. I grew up in Cincinnati, Kings Island, but theme park food, it's like it's such mass food and it's made super quick and get it out, and it's fast food-ish, but but not at Disney. Any food you buy at the Disney park is phenomenal, especially during the Wine and Food Festival. Everything you eat, there was nothing I ate that I wasn't. This is just the
I
best,
know.
amazing.
I know.
So on the cruise, this is the part that's all inclusive. Like you've paid your ticket, you paid anything you eat, you don't have to pay for. Um, they've got on the deck where the pools are. They've got basically, I call it a food court, but again, it's not to diminish it. But they've got like stages of restaurants around there, burgers and barbecue and pizza place,
Pizza. Hmm.
like a taco place, and I mean ice cream. So all that's available at any time. It's all great. You just walk up and take it, go. Then they've got what was the market? Was it Maricel's Market or
Uh-huh.
yeah? So
That was the buffet.
that's the buffet and breakfast, lunch, and dinner that's available.
So good.
Food there, unbelievable. Eggs Benedict, the charcuterie board. They've just got several
Charcuterie
of those
is
stacked up behind
amazing.
glass. You want one? Here's some smoked salmon. I mean,
Best
amazing
chicken. Oh
food.
my gosh, I love the chicken. The roast beef was
Right.
incredible. The cold shrimp, amazing.
All
Hmm.
these little desserts. I mean, and you take as many as you want, but
The
just, I mean,
cookies.
they're all
Yep.
fancy and then the kids station too. So they've got a special lowered
Yes.
spot for pancakes and whatever. Kids can walk up and get their own stuff. Just fun little thing. Um, Unbelievable. All you can eat. Just go whenever. Um, so then the restaurants, the themed restaurants, and there were three. First one was, as you said, Plaza de Coco, high-end Mexican food. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, the top-notch stuff. I
I
mean,
had the most amazing bass. I don't know what you got your first night, but I had the bass, and the chips were to die for,
yeah,
and the guacamole.
yeah. I mean, again, we ordered every. I mean, we got every appetizer
You
there was.
can. You can order everything.
Yeah, and
Yep.
again, yeah, all you can eat, all you can eat. So then second night, Marvel, World of Marvel. And so I went to this on the Disney Wish and I almost skipped it just because we were trying to work in, I think Moana 2 was that night or Moana, the play
You
was that.
wanted to go to the earlier show.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe if we skip dinner, we can make sure we get that, see the early, anyway, we ended up not, my wife talked me into like, yeah, let's just stick with the dinner plan. And I'm so glad I did. That was my favorite meal of the trip at that World of Marvel. And again, it's a high-end restaurant. It's just themed Marvel style. And they've got screens up and they've got Marvel trivia going. So my
Yeah.
son was entertained and we're talking. We got
There's like a
sitting.
machine on the
Yeah,
table that you would answer the
right,
questions
right,
asked on the screen. So everyone was engaged.
right, right. So it was a great time. And then the all the servers did a dance and stuff at one
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
That was my favorite food and my favorite experience of the night. Of
I
the
had black pasta. I had black pasta with shrimp that
right,
they wrapped up into this amazing little, it looked like this little pod. And then you unraveled it. And I'm like, this is the best I've ever had. Black pasta. It was
right.
so good.
And then night three, 1923.
Yeah.
That's the it's like a really high end, classic New York style Art Deco with a museum of sorts of all
Yeah. All the
sketches and
drawings and
drawings
sketches. Yeah.
from Disney's history. So yeah, phenomenal time, phenomenal food.
Walt and Roy.
Right,
And it was like a speakeasy. It was like a beautiful, elegant type speakeasy.
right,
And that night I went for it because it was our last night. I was so depressed. I
right.
ordered the lobster tail,
Oh,
which the
yep,
maitre d' came and cracked the shell and got it. It was huge lobster tail with the butter. But I
right,
also had the venison. Oh my gosh. It
yep.
was perfection. I mean, I'm on a Disney cruise and I'm eating purely elegant food. It was amazing.
Now you do have to pay for your drinks, and I did run up quite the drink bill, but the drinks were phenomenal as well. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. I
everything.
watched you. I
So,
know. The thing that I paid extra for was the specialty coffees. You had to pay extra, but the coffee alone was just amazing. I'm a big coffee drinker, and that
right,
was just so good with that cream. I'm like, this cream is amazing.
right,
Everything was the thing that I loved about it so much is they thought about what you needed before you even knew you needed it.
right. Oh, absolutely.
Even when they set your room up. I mean, I didn't even realize we had a bunk bed coming down from the ceiling. And
Right,
the blanket, I was like, I want this blanket. And they had it decorated each night when you walked in.
right.
And the
These
person
little
in charge of your room, he was watching. I mean, he always knew when to go in and make that room so comfortable for you.
right, and the little. I mean, they give you little gifts and stuff, little
Oh,
plush
yeah.
mouse ears and stuff like that. Every day, there's something little
Every day.
for
Hmm.
you. And then only other thing I would point out is because we went, of course, in December, so definitely it's warm enough to get in the pools, and the pools are heated. My kids didn't, they didn't miss a beat.
We
We
didn't even mention when we landed, when we hit K,
Castaway Cay, Castaway
Yeah,
Key,
Castaway
Castaway
Cay,
Key.
Key, and I went in the water.
Yep,
It was chilly, but it was
right.
so beautiful and green and crystal clear. I had to check it out. So that we've got video of that too.
Right. And so my daughter and I, they've got a bike trail and a
Yes.
5K on the island. So if you want to walk the 5K and you earn a little finisher medal. So,
That was a big medal. That wasn't little. That was a pretty
oh yeah.
sweet
Yeah, no, it's a
Disney
nice
medal.
hefty one, so we each earned one. We went on the walk on the island and I'm usually not a big saltwater. Like I mean, I'll get in with my kids and stuff, but I was totally fine. I didn't get in the water really this time. I waited. I just walked in and,
Yeah,
but,
it was
but
chilly.
I'm totally fine. Again, there's food on the island and
Amazing barbecue.
yeah, there's,
Oh,
there's
those
drinks on
ribs were so good. But so you say, well, why did you guys get to go? Because we wanted to preview it for our
the
listeners because we're sending a family.
Right. I can't wait. So what we ought to do is I want to do a podcast with if they'll do it, if they'll do it. I want to you and me talk to whoever we pick to be the winner, it's a random draw from everyone who's registered on our website. But I'd love to have a podcast with them before and we just kind of
Yes.
here's what here's what to look out for, here's what to try, here's what to do. And then afterwards too, we want to know like, well, how was it? Tell us everything, and
And the
how
thing is, either way, whether you've already been on a cruise before or you've never been on a cruise, you will be, like they say, you never know what to expect on a Disney cruise. So even if you've been on a Disney cruise in the past, this is their newest cruise ship, the Treasure, and it's taken all of the best of cruise ships in the past and put it on this unbelievably beautiful ship.
Right.
So
That's
from
good
beginning
stuff.
to end, I love the whole experience. I smiled all the way through every performance. I kept going, there's some shows I'm going, I'm not smiling. I'm not smiling. This one I go, I'm smiling like from beginning to end. And I know my kids, I mean, Nash is 29 and his wife Claire, they had so much fun. What a great gift for your family.
Absolutely. Can't wait to send somebody.
Yeah. So all you have to do is just register. Keep registering at sunny99.com. Get $100 to set you up, and then you could be going on. It really is a dream cruise. And one of the people that I spoke with, I think his name was Brennan, he said, this is a cruise ship where you really will treasure the memories. You will.